Hey everyone, and welcome to AMC Movie Talk for movie fans. I'm Chrisley Kennedy, and this is the show where we bring you the day's biggest movie news, and of course we give you insight into what it all means. Joining me, as always, is AMC Movie News Senior Editor, Mr. John Campea.
Greetings and salutations, everybody. Welcome to the best damn movie-related show on the planet, coming to you live from the Stream.tv studios here in Hollywood, California. And a couple things to announce here really quickly. The first thing I'm very excited about, although I'm only 95% sure, so a little risky here, but we're 95% sure that tomorrow here on AMC Movie Talk, we are going to be joined by actor Sebastian Stan, a.k.a. the Winter Soldier, Bucky Barnes from the Captain America movie, and the upcoming Captain America, the Winter Soldier. We are so excited to have him come in. He is phenomenal in this film. The movie is absolutely ridiculously good, and so he will be in here live on AMC Movie Talk tomorrow. At least we're 95% sure he does. You never know in this town when things might fall through. But we're really excited about that, so make sure you join us tomorrow. And also, just another side thing on a downer note, it's Hal Douglas. You may not recognize the name, but you would recognize his voice, the voice of movie trailers in a world. I mean, he's the voice. Look up his stuff on YouTube. It's been reported today that he actually passed away last week, and it is a loss to the movie community, it's a loss to film fans everywhere, and our condolences go out to him and his family.
We also have joining us at the table, back by popular demand, our AMC Movie News production manager, Mr. Dennis Sen.
Woohoo!
Hey everyone, yeah, I was, I think I was stuck in this black hole called the airport, me and Chrisley. On a side note, on the way to work today, I walked by Mike Tyson.
That doesn't happen every day.
No, he's just smoking a cigar outside his car.
Good day, good day.
Gotta love this town. All right, guys, according to Variety, the lead role for the upcoming Star Wars Episode 7 is down to 5 actors. We have Attack of the Block's John Boyega, Downton Abbey star Ed Spielers, and theater actors Ray Fisher and Matthew James Thomas all joined the previously rumored Jesse Plemons from Breaking Bad and Friday Night Lights. Star Wars Episode 7 is currently scheduled to hit AMC theaters on December 18th, 2015. John, do you like any of these names for the lead role?
I like Ed Spielers. I do. Now, I'm going to, full disclosure, it's time for us, I know you guys well enough to trust you with this deep, dark secret of mine. I'm a fan of Downton Abbey. I am. I'm one of the watchers of Downton Abbey, and I really like him in it. And a lot of people forget, this is the same kid from Aragon. Remember that? He was supposed to have a great career after that, and then the movie completely sucked and kind of derailed him, which is too bad because he's got a lot of talent. This kid is a really good actor, and I could see him totally fitting into a Star Wars thing. Now, it's tough to give a lot of opinion about, is he right for this when we don't know anything about the role? You know, we have no idea what the role is like. What type of guy is this character going to be? Is he good? Is he bad? Is he brooding? It's tough to say. But I do know that this kid's got talent. Now, a couple other names that Chrisley mentioned are primarily theater actors, which tells me they must have a lot of talent if they're theater actors over in Europe. But it's hard to give an opinion because I'm not familiar with their work. So I really can't comment on that. The Plemons thing is weird. I liked him in Friday Night Lights. I liked him very much in Breaking Bad. But once again, it's hard to give an opinion when I don't know what the character is. Because I have a hard time picturing him, while I think he's a terrific performer, I have a hard time picturing him fitting in the Star Wars universe, you know what I mean? Yeah. I don't know why, but I do like a couple of these names, especially Ed's name. I think he'd be a nice fit. What do you think?
I also have to admit I'm a Downton Abbey fan. I was watching
the
first 4 episodes on the plane to New York and back.
We could form our own support group.
Yes, men who like Downton Abbey.
Men who like Downton Abbey. There we go. We're going to start that as an online support group.
But yeah, it's an interesting list because we don't know what kind of character they're trying to cast for, but then even judging by this list of the 3 actors, I also don't know the theater actors, but the 3 film and television actors that we do know, they're very different. Like,
oh, yeah.
Spielers is more the usual leading man, good looks, and Jesse Plemons is kind of like the side. He always plays the sidekick, or
yeah.
You know, kind of even a creepy looking dude. So we can't gather anything from even this list.
And then the dude from Attack the Block.
Exactly. So they're 3 very different actors, and so we can't even guess what kind of role this is. And I wish we could, because at least if they cast or tried to cast like 3 very certain types of actors, we'd be like, oh, that's what they're going for. But in this case, no, I have no clue.
You know, with the Attack the Block thing, I remember watching Attack the Block. The first question that popped in my head is anybody going to be able to understand what he's saying? Because when I saw Attack the Block, and it wasn't just him, it was the whole accent of the entire movie, it took me a good 45 minutes watching Attack the Block before my brain finally adjusted a bit to be able to consistently understand what everybody was saying. Because the first half hour of the film, I had no idea what this movie was about because I was having a hard time grabbing the dialogue. But it is you know what is interesting though, and I like this. No big stars here. There are no big major superstars here, which goes back to the spirit of the original Star Wars. You know, other than Obi-Wan, they had nobody knew who any of those guys were really. And they kind of went in that direction. I like that they're kind of doing that here. Clearly, they're looking for great talent and not necessarily great names. So that's all encouraging for me to see. So, all right, what's next?
Actor Jeremy Irons, who will be playing Alfred in the upcoming Batman vs. Superman film, caused a little bit of a stir on the internet yesterday when he revealed in an interview that the script, quote, isn't entirely finished, end quote. Despite the fact that production on the film has begun, Dennis, should fans be concerned by Irons' comment?
I'm a little concerned. I don't know if fans are. I'm a little concerned because, you know, they've already delayed this movie.
Yeah.
They got in a new screenwriter, but he's an Oscar-winning screenwriter of Argo. Okay, he came to rewrite the script. I mean, the script is the foundation which movies are based on.
Yeah.
So when the foundation isn't completely done yet and you've already started production on the film, things may change later on that may affect, you know, what you've already shot. Like maybe you've changed a few things and then the things you've already shot don't apply, or maybe you have to do reshoots. I'm not overly concerned, but I am getting, you know, I'm just getting very nervous about everything about this production is just getting me very nervous.
There are clearly things about this production that make me nervous. I mean, clearly. I mean, I'm not a big fan of the Gal Gadot casting. I wasn't a big fan of them. Hey, look, if you weren't ready to make your film in time for summer 2015, why did you announce you were ready? Yeah. So clearly you didn't know what you were doing because then you had to bump it back to 2016. There are a lot of things, but I'm going to tell you, this doesn't concern me. Lots of things about Batman vs. Superman that concern me. This doesn't because, you know, what I don't think Irons is saying is, yeah, they've only got 45 pages of the script written. They don't even know how the movie's going to end yet. I think they have their rough draft. They know where the movie's going. And it's not completely unusual for them to know in advance, even once they start production, that, oh yeah, we got a couple other scenes down the road that we know we still have to do some work on. Like remember in Thor 2, they had already started production, and then they flew in Joss Whedon to rewrite a bunch of the scenes on the go. So the script wasn't completely, entirely done yet, although they knew where everything was going. I don't think this is that unusual. Now, if Jeremy Irons comes out tomorrow and makes another announcement and says, no, by not entirely done, I mean we don't even know where this movie's going yet, that's a different story. But I'm interpreting him as saying they've got their script, but they know there's a few areas they still need to work on and they're still developing. And if that's the case, it's not that unusual. As long as, you know, they're not, you know, 5 days into shooting and say, hey, let's have Darkseid in this movie, you know, all of a sudden. But I don't think that's what he's saying, so I'm not feeling terribly nervous about it. Chris Lee, you listen to us talk about this movie all the time. When you hear an actor like Jeremy Irons say, the script isn't entirely, you can hear him saying in his English voice, it's not entirely done yet. Does that, as a fan, does that concern you, or do you think not a big deal?
You know, for the first time, John, I have to 100% agree with you. I'm not scared at all because, you know, I think what a lot of people don't understand is that once those actors get on set and they start doing that dialogue, everything changes and a lot of things get rewritten. So I think that with something like this, with coming in with somebody like Jeremy Irons, with bringing in somebody like Jesse Eisenberg, there's a lot of things that are going to be reworked once they put the guys together and see how they work once the word is said. So this doesn't actually scare me at all.
All right. Well, folks, we've come to that part of the show called Buy or Sell. Here's how this works. In front of her, Chris Lee's got a few other items in the world of movie news. She's going to run them down, and then Dennis and I are simply going to say whether we buy it or sell it. So, Chrisley, what do we got?
Director Joe Wright is shaping out his cast for the upcoming movie Pan. He already added Hugh Jackman as Blackbeard, Tron Legacy's Garrett Hedlund as Hook, and now it's being reported that Girl with the Dragon Tattoo star Rooney Mara is in talks to play Tiger Lily in the film. Pan is expected to hit AMC theaters July 17th, 2015. John, buy or sell Rooney Mara joining the cast of Pan?
Enthusiastic buy, not just for this one move, but for the film overall. I like the director, I like the casting so far, and I love the addition of Rooney Mara. I am becoming a very big Rooney Mara fan. She just did that movie, not just, but about a year and a half ago that she did with Channing Tatum. I'm forgetting the name of it off the top of my head, though.
Side Effects?
Side Effects, thank you very much. And while I was not thrilled with the movie as a whole, her performance is incredible in it. And seeing her come to this type of a production, I think this is great for the production. This movie looks great to me. For me, it's a buy.
Despite really liking Rooney Mara and her, yeah, she was great in Side Effects. I didn't actually care for the movie either. I think she's a wonderful actress. I'm going to have to sell it because it's another Lone Ranger situation. She's supposed to play Tiger Lily, who's a Native American princess, and they couldn't find a Native American actress to play that role. And also, like with Lone Ranger, you have Johnny Depp, who's a big star. He's a much bigger star than Armie Hammer. So that you could kind of make an argument for that. In this one, you already have Hugh Jackman, who's a bigger star than Rooney Mara in it. So you can't say, well, we need star power. You've already got the star power. So I think they could have maybe looked for unknown, because at some point Rooney Mara was unknown as well. Before she did Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, Nightmare on Elm Street, she was unknown. So I think they could have found someone else.
All right, what's next?
As many of you know, actor Liam Neeson has signed on to reprise his role in the upcoming Taken 3, and now he's got company. According to reports, the studio has just signed on actress Maggie Grace, who will return once again playing Neeson's daughter Kim. Taken 3 is currently planned to release sometime in 2015, and I might be the only one in this room really excited about that. Dennis, buy or sell Grace returning for Taken 3?
Sure, I'll buy it. I mean, she had more to do in the second one, so as long as she doesn't get kidnapped in the third one, and we just have a repeat of the first movie, and they have stuff for her to do, sure. And then this franchise doesn't cost that much to make, and they make a ton of money off of it.
Yeah.
So they're going to keep doing it until they start losing money.
I'm going to sell it. While I like Maggie Grace a lot, what I don't want is they've taken the dog. And now father and daughter have to unite in a big hunt.
I'd see it.
She had a much bigger role in the second film. And the second film was really less a sequel as it was the second part of the first film. You know what I mean? In that way. But if you're moving out Taken 3, look, the guy we are attracted to in Taken is Liam Neeson. And the filmmakers have already promised us that no one's getting taken in Taken 3. It's going to be a different kind of movie than the first two were. Okay, then let's take his daughter out of it. Let's just focus on Liam. It makes me nervous that they're bringing his family into it again, because I got encouraged when they were saying it's going to be a different kind of film, all this kind of stuff. But then suddenly they say, and we're bringing Maggie Grace back, and I go, oh dear. So I'm still looking forward to the film, but I got to sell the whole Maggie Grace thing. All right, what's next?
No, we have to have hope that Maggie Grace is now going to want to be a spy, just like her dad.
And
that's going to be Taken 3.
Very much.
All right, Disney has already signed Johnny Depp and Mia Wasikowska to return for Through the Looking Glass, the sequel to Tim Burton's 2010 film Alice in Wonderland. Now, another character from the first film will be returning, as Variety reports Burton's wife, Helena Bonham Carter, will reprise her role as the Red Queen for the sequel, set to hit AMC theaters on May 27th, 2016. John, buy or sell Helena Bonham Carter returning for Through the Looking Glass?
Oddly enough, I'm going to buy this, and here's why I'm going to buy it. The first Alice in Wonderland movie was awful. It was awful. It's a bad movie. But one of the shining points in it is actually Carter's performance as the Red Queen. When she was on screen doing her thing, I was laughing and entertained, and I was kind of drawn into it. And it was one of the very few points of that film that actually had me interested. So if you're going to do a sequel, then yeah, for a guy like me who thinks she was the best part of the first movie, having her in the second one is nothing but a good thing. So for me, it's a buy.
I'll buy for the same reasons. I didn't care for Alice in Wonderland, and she was the best part. She was the only actress that was actually committed to the role. I felt like everyone else was kind of sleepwalking through it. Even someone like Anne Hathaway, who I really like, her role just seemed like, okay, let's just do this, you know? And so she was the most interesting and fascinating part of the movie, and I'm not looking forward to a sequel, but if they're going to have one, casting her again is a good news.
Now, before we get into mailbag, I want to let you guys know that at the end of every show, we like to leave a little bit of time to take your questions for those of you who are watching us live. If you didn't know, we do this show live Monday through Friday at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, and you can send in questions if you're watching us live. You can tweet to us at AMC Movie News. Send your questions in via Twitter at AMC Movie News. Chris Lee is going to be on the Twitter stream, and she's going to pick out a few questions to ask at the end of the show. But I want to throw in one more buy or sell topic here, just completely off the cuff. This is interesting. Okay, now we know that Kevin Feige and Marvel a little while ago announced a bunch of release dates for upcoming movies without telling us which movies they were. Remember that?
Yeah.
They said we got this week. Now, one of those dates, I believe, is May 6th, 2016. Well, guess when Batman vs. Superman is supposed to open? May 6th, 2016. So we've all just been assuming, okay, well, one of them's going to move off the day, right? Well, in a recent interview, Kevin Feige, who was just in here on Saturday with us, Kevin Feige just said, we're not moving dates. Nah, we got that date, and we'll announce in the next month or two which movie it is we're opening on that date. A lot of people think it's going to be Doctor Strange. And we're sticking with that date. Well, DC just moved to that date. I can't see DC wanting to lose face in this game of chicken that Kevin Feige and Marvel is. Actually, I don't know whose fault it is that they ended up on the same date. I'm not even really clear, who had that date first, whether it was Batman vs. Superman or whether Marvel announced for their Marvel film to open on that date. But be it as it may, we now got a game of chicken going on. We got a DC Marvel game of chicken going on. Feige says we ain't moving. Dennis, buy or sell that Marvel really won't move off that date?
I buy it. I think Kevin Feige and Marvel, they've got the upper hand. You know, they're the ones who the fans trust in making the comic book movie franchise work. And so I think DC is going to move. I think DC eventually is going to move. Because, you know, with Marvel, they've got everything established, and we don't know what it is. And they can afford to take a hit, honestly. You know, DC can't. They need to get all the momentum that they can.
I am also going to buy that they're not going to move. But you know what? I don't think... If I was advising Kevin Feige, which I am not, surprisingly enough, he doesn't seek me out for counsel. If I was advising Kevin Feige, I'd say, Kevin, move the date. You know why? Because you're Marvel, you got all the momentum. If it is something like Doctor Strange, you can't go toe-to-toe with Batman vs. Superman. You can't. I got no doubt you'll probably make the better movie. But there are generations of people who've been waiting for Batman Superman together. You can't go toe-to-toe. It's bad for the Superman movie. It's bad for your Marvel movie. You guys cannot release these films on the same date. But I don't think he's going to move. Now, especially now that he's come out and said, I ain't moving. Now he's backed himself into a corner.
Yeah.
Now he can't move. But I'm telling you, a week ago I would have said it was impossible. But I don't think DC is going to move either. I think we are facing the very real possibility that we're going to have a Marvel film and Batman Superman opening on the same day. And everybody will suffer for it, except that's going to be one of the best weekends of my life, because I'm going to go to see both. But it's going to be really, really interesting to see how this plays out. Anyway, guys, let us know in the comment section what you think is going to happen with this big high-stakes game of chicken that seems to be going on. Anyway, that being said, it is time for mailbag. Listen, we take questions from you guys all the time. If you ever have a topic or a question you'd like us to address on the show, you can email us anytime at amcmovietalk@gmail.com. Right now, Chris Lee's got a couple of questions pulled out of the mailbag. So, Chris Lee, what do we got?
Spencer M. writes, the other day you were talking about if Adam Sandler could ever win an Oscar, and you said definitely. On that note, do you think Jim Carrey could win an Oscar?
Nope. No, I don't. I like Jim Carrey very much. If for anybody who's watched this show for any period of time, you know I'm a big fan of Jim Carrey. Good Canadian boy. Grew up not far from where I grew up. Very talented, great comedic actor, and a very solid dramatic actor. He showed that with the Truman Show. With he even did that one hotel movie that it was obviously Oscar bait, and the movie wasn't all that good, but he ended up being pretty good in it. And of course. The big one everybody likes him in.
Eternal
It's
Sunshine.
of the Spotless Mind. he's shown that he's very good, but I have never seen in him that he, in a dramatic capacity, could take it to that elite level, like we've seen Adam Sandler do, surprisingly enough. So, no, I don't think even if Jim Carrey goes, so I think he could have a very good career as a dramatic actor. I think he has a lot of talent as a dramatic actor. But do I think he's in that elite Oscar caliber level potential? Personally, I don't think so. Dennis, what do you think?
I'm going to have to completely disagree with you. I think that Jim Carrey not only has a chance, I think he has a better chance than Adam Sandler.
Really?
Yes, I think his acting chops are I like Adam Sandler. I liked him in Punch Drunk Love and a few other things. I think Jim Carrey is on a different level than Adam Sandler. I think he was fantastic in The Truman Show. I think he was great in Man on the Moon, and
I think he's so underrated, man. People don't talk about Man on the Moon.
Yeah, he won
enough.
a Golden Globe for that one, and Eternal Sunshine for The Spotless Mind. I love that movie, and I honestly think he should have been nominated for an Oscar. I don't think he should have won, but he should have been nominated. And I think he has more of that in him, and I think we're going to see him get some more recognition. I don't know if he's going to win one, but I think he's going to get more recognition down the road.
Okay.
I'm going to have to join Team Dennis on that one. Victor Paulo Serba writes, I'm just wondering what films that qualify in your AMC spoilers. Is it a film that must be liked most of the crew or a film that is highly anticipated by the audience?
Yeah, AMC spoilers is the most tricky little segment that we do, and we're trying to gear up now where we're going to be doing at least 2 a month. For those of you who don't know, AMC spoilers is when we get a big group of us from AMC Movie News and we sit down, we just talk about a movie, full spoilers too. Like we talk about what we like, didn't like about a movie, and we go all into the spoilers, and we invite you as the audience to watch it with us, but only if you've seen the movie. So it's like a bunch of friends sitting around talking about a movie we've seen together. But it's a tricky one for us to do. It's always been a tricky one for us to do because we got to be very conscious of a conflict of interest. We don't want to trash talk. Obviously, there's a conflict of interest here. If we trash talk a movie that's about to open. Now, I will trash talk movies that are in the past. I will trash talk movies that are a little ways off in the future. But it's a conflict of interest for me to trash talk one movie over another that's opening up in the next couple of weeks, for instance, or it just opened up. But at the same time, I am adamant that we will never say we like something if we don't. I will never come on here and say, oh, I like this movie. This movie looks good. If I don't think it looks good, I ain't saying it looks good. Plain and simple. So when Dennis and I were first starting talking about like an AMC spoilers idea, we kind of crafted some rough guidelines like, okay, the majority of us have to have liked the film. Not that all of us have to have liked it, but the majority of us have to have liked it. If there's 1 or 2 dissenting voices, that's totally cool, but we just didn't want to turn a spoiler review into a trash talking session. So, our Superman or Man of Steel review, there was one of our panel members who really didn't like the film, and that's fine because the majority of us did. So we can have those discussions. So it has to be a mix between, and trust me, we've had movies we thought about doing spoilers review for, and then we saw the movie and didn't like it, and just decided not to do a review because we don't want to be in a conflict of interest and we don't want to lie. But at the same time, we also, you're right in your question, we want it to be for a movie that most people are looking forward to. So for instance, we didn't do one for the Single Moms Club because that's not a movie like a huge majority of our viewers have been really looking forward to. So we decided not to do one for that. Then, we'll probably do one for Captain America.
I'm pretty sure
I'm pretty positive we're going to be doing one for Captain America. So, yeah, we do have to walk that very thin line of not getting into a conflict of interest, but never lying about our opinion and making sure it's one that also has a certain degree of anticipation from the fans. So it's more of a art than a science, deciding which films we're going to do spoiler reviews for. Anyway, Dennis, how would you answer that question?
In the same way, and we want to do spoiler reviews for everything.
Yeah, we'd love to.
We'd want to, but that's just not the case. Not every film is going to fall into that category.
Yeah.
And I think we're going to do one for Captain America.
Oh, yeah, that's coming for sure.
And, maybe one for Divergent. I don't know.
Woohoo!
Hey, don't laugh. I talked to a couple of people who saw Divergent, and I'm actually hearing pretty good things.
I like the director, so I'm hoping. And then
Chris Lee's
Chris
giving me a look.
Chris Lee's going to be on that spoiler
remember
review
that
for
little
sure.
movie Divergent? So good.
I'm hearing from people that it's actually pretty good, so we might have to do with that. All right, folks, we're going to take some questions now from you guys who are watching us live in the Twitter stream. So, Chris Lee, What are people asking in there?
Well, Kid Snowy and I clearly must be friends in another life because he wants to know, with Marvel taking a chance with Guardians of the Galaxy and getting such great feedback with Rocket Raccoon, do you think they'll remake Howard the Duck?
It is amazing how many people ask me this question. I gotta say no. I don't think they will. Howard the Duck is really outside the wheelhouse of where Marvel's at right now. Now, granted, they're taking some risks and they're stretching a bit. I don't feel a demand for Howard the Duck from people either. I mean, there's a very small but vocal segment of people who would love to see Howard the Duck. Hell, I'd go see a new Howard the Duck movie, but I don't think many of my friends would want to go with me. So I think Marvel's got about 500 other things that are higher on their priority list to do. So I don't think so. Dennis, what do you think?
I don't think so either. There's probably a small following for it, but they're not going to make a movie. What's interesting about that, though, is that before Marvel was bought by Disney, Howard the Duck was kind of like a parody, kind of a joking stab at Donald Duck. And now Disney bought Marvel. Now they own this character that was initially making fun of one of their characters.
Right. All right, what else?
Sorry, I just got completely blindsided by 30 tweets at once. New York S guy, hello Dennis, Chrisley, and Jod. Can you ever see Crispin Glover as the Riddler in the new Batman universe?
I've always said I thought Crispin Glover would be a dynamite Joker. I've always thought he'd be a dynamite Joker. Could he also fit in as a Riddler? I could absolutely see him as a Riddler. If I were in charge of DC, would I consider a Crispin Glover for Riddler or Joker? Absolutely. Do I think the actual Warner Brothers is considering Crispin Glover for Riddler or Joker? No, I don't think they are. I would, but I don't think they are at all. Dennis?
I'd be open to it, but yeah, they're not going to do it. I liked him in Hot Tub Time Machine.
I did too. He was great in Hot Tub Time Machine. I love that dude.
Sean Nicholson wants to know, why did Robopocalypse fall apart? Spielberg was excited about it, and then nothing. What happened?
It's take everything I'm about to say with a total. Remember, we don't prep these. This question just come to us now. I don't know if any of this is fact. I don't know if any of it was fact. But yes, Spielberg was excited about it. He had Chris Hemsworth on board. He had Anne Hathaway was on board for it as well. Seemed excited, and then all of a sudden, announcement comes out that it's postponed indefinitely. Not canceled. They just said postponed indefinitely, which means it's probably canceled. We don't know yet. I heard that the studio recoiled a bit at the initial budget numbers that came into them. And I don't think Spielberg is at the point in his career where he's willing to make compromises on things like what he feels he needs his budget to be when he knows he has 40 other things he can go and do for whatever budget he wants. So that is what I've heard. But that could be totally wrong. Please don't take that as gospel truth. That could be completely wrong. That's simply what I've heard. Have you heard anything different?
I heard similar stuff, and I just find it fascinating that, think about that. Steven Spielberg can't get a movie made because the studio doesn't want to pay for it. Steven Spielberg.
Yeah.
Like, really? Because I also read similar things about Lincoln. Lincoln almost didn't get made.
Yeah, it was almost a straight to HBO movie.
Yeah, you have Steven Spielberg and Daniel Day-Lewis, and you can't get a movie made? Wow. Things have definitely changed.
Yeah, I mean, for all I know, Spielberg submitted a budget of $330 million, which, okay, fine. Look, everybody knows I worship at the altar of Steven Spielberg. But if I'm a studio head and they submit a $300 million budget, I'm saying no, too. Because I don't know that Robopocalypse is going to be a huge mega hit, so I'm sure they got to be responsible. But you're right. Your first thing is, what could make you say no to Steven Spielberg at this point? Like what? I just don't. Yeah. All right, what else we got? Let's take a couple more.
Karun Manut wants to know, people say Crash did not deserve the Oscar, but Crash is probably one of my top 10 movies. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I don't know that there's ever been a winner of, maybe aside from Shakespeare in Love, but I don't know that there's ever been a picture that won Best Picture that divided people as much as Crash did. I'm one of those people that I watched Crash, and I thought it was a nearly impossible film to make, and I thought it was beautifully done. And I personally really liked it. Was it my pick to win? No, it wasn't my pick to win. But it was good enough to me that I had no complaints. You know, I didn't feel like I had any grounds to complain if it did win. And it did win. It wasn't my pick, but it won. So I've always felt perfectly fine and comfortable with the fact that it won. But that's just me. I know a lot of people who really didn't want it to win. Dennis, your thoughts on Crash?
I was one of those people that didn't want it to win.
Right.
I watched the movie and I was like, really? This is what they've been hyping? I just thought it was a bit over the top. It wasn't subtle, with a lot of
Oh,
the
it
things.
certainly wasn't subtle.
Yeah,
No,
and then a lot of coincidences happened throughout the movie, and it wasn't one of my favorite movies that year, so I didn't want it to win.
All right, let's take two more.
Scott Simon says, hey guys, love the show. Which villain would you like to see in the next Hulk standalone movie? I would like to see Red Hulk.
I've kind of mentioned this before. I would like to see them bring back Abomination. I thought the best part about that last Hulk film, and I enjoyed that last Hulk film, was the Abomination and the fight they had in the streets, which, by the way, was in the street of my hometown, Hamilton, Ontario, Canada, is where they shot most of that fight scene. I thought it was great, and I think they left Abomination alive at the end of that movie for a reason. I think they're going to go back and visit him. I would like to see them bring back Abomination again with a twist, either with a leader in there involved as well, or some other villain alongside of him to increase the threat a little bit. But I'd like to see Abomination.
I'd like to see the leader. I'd want him to be the main villain. If they bring back Abomination, fine, but I'd like to see the leader maybe masterminding everything.
All right, last question.
Dennis and I were just talking about this movie this weekend, so I have to ask, and Zane Ewing wants to know. He says, me and my daughter watched Mr. Peabody and Sherman this weekend, and we loved it. Do you see DreamWorks making a franchise out of it? I
have not gone to go see it. I've not gone to go see it. We've had a lot of things going on with AMC Movie News the last 2 weeks, and Mr. Peabody, I was really surprised. I thought it looked terrible. And then all of a sudden, all these friends of ours who are professional reviewers come out and they're reviewing it, and everybody's saying it's really delightful and it's charming. I think it's got like a 75, 77% rating on Rotten Tomato right now. I got to go out and see it. I want to see it. So I can't answer if I think it has franchise potential, but let's put it this way. If it makes like $180 million domestically and like $500 million worldwide, I don't have to see the movie to tell you it has franchise potential. But we'll have to just wait to see it turns out. Have you seen it yet?
I saw it with Roth, who used to work with AMC. She's over at IGN now. Me and her saw it. I don't know what she thought because I think I had to run right after the movie was done. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a lot of fun, and and the kids seemed to like it as well. So hopefully, I know it did okay, but maybe Bourne market, it'll do better. I don't know, but I hope they make a franchise out of it because I really enjoyed it.
All right. Well, that'll do it for us today, folks. Hey, listen, I'm just going to remind you once again of something that might happen tomorrow. 95% chance it's happening, but it looks like we're going to have Sebastian Stan, a.k.a. the Winter Soldier, from the upcoming Captain America, the Winter Soldier, also known as Bucky Barnes, is going to be in here with us tomorrow to talk about the movie. And if the schedules don't line up and he doesn't, then I'm just going to look stupid, but I'm not really unfamiliar with that feeling. So make sure you come back and join us again tomorrow. Listen, don't forget, lots of great movies like Mr. Peabody is playing in AMC theaters right now. Head on over to www.amctheaters.com for your theater, showtime, and movie ticket information. Listen, if you want an audio-only version of this episode, look in the description of this video and you'll find links to our Stitcher and our iTunes so you can get our audio-only podcast. And once again, click the thumbs up button, and if you have not done so already, make sure you subscribe to our AMC Movie News YouTube channel. I want to thank, first of all, the guy sitting at the table with me, our production manager here at AMC Movie News, Mr. Dennis Zen. Dennis, where can people find you online?
You guys can find me on Twitter at ThinkHero and on YouTube, ThinkHero Pro.
Our lovely host today, Miss Chrisley Kennedy. Chrisley, where can people find you?
You guys can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Chrisley, and still getting ready with my fellow marshmallows.
And you can find me on the various social media networks at John Campia. Thanks a lot for joining us, guys. My name's John Campia for AMC Movie News, and until next time, bye-bye.
If you like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to AMC Movie News on YouTube. It's free and a great way to stay updated with all the latest movie news and check out our daily show, AMC Movie Talk. Also, don't forget to check us out on Facebook and Twitter to stay in the loop for our special prizes, giveaways, and contests.